Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Bruce McCurdy. Welcome, Bruce.
Hey, David, how are you doing tonight?
Yeah, good. That was actually a pretty good game, even though the Oilers lost. That was they lost 3-1 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay is a really, 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 really fast hockey team, and
Whatever.
a team with a huge amount of effort in their game. I really like the way they played. That is how I'd like to see the Edmonton Oilers play. That was just a very smart, hardworking hockey team with some really good defensemen. Mikhail Sergachev would have looked good with the Edmonton Oilers, but of course they used that pick on Jesse Puljujärvi. Bruce, this is our two good things, two bad things, and two numbers podcast. Let's start out with your good thing.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Oilers 5-on-5 game, which is basically 54 minutes of the 60. And, they sawed off 1-1 in the 5-on-5 portion of the game. And they had all the power plays, and they wound up finding a way to somehow lose the game. But 5-on-5, they largely held their own. Tampa was kind of all over them at times. But for Edmonton basically going with one strong line and three checking lines, they at least hung around in the game and gave themselves a chance to win it.
Thanks. I just was telling my wife to go eat her corn chips in another room. So they're kind of crunchy. Mm-hmm. Such is the life of the kitchen podcaster. Right. It was a good effort by the Oilers, Bruce. I just thought they tried hard all game. They just were beaten by a better team. Tampa had 12 grade A chances or 11 grade A chances to 7 for the Oilers. And they had a lot of really, really good chances. And Mike Smith played pretty well in that game. My good thing was I thought it was probably Caleb Jones's best game of the year. He scored the goal. And, the coach liked him so much that he had him out there right at the end of the game. He wasn't able to keep the puck in when the Oilers were 6-on-5. But he's a smart player. He's a really good player. And I've said this before, and I'm going to stick with it. I think that he's going to be as good a player as Ethan Bear. And he's not getting the opportunity because they have, he's not a right D. Ethan Bear is. They have Clefbaum and Nurse ahead of him. But he's a modern NHL D man. He can really skate. He can really pass the puck. And he's got a way of getting shots through from the point, joining the attack. I really like his game. I liked his game a lot last year when Ken Hitchcock fell in love with the player to the extent that he used him in the top pairing until he kind of fell apart and got sent back to the minors. But I think Jones is coming on, and he's just a really important player for the Oilers. They need that third pairing to go, and hopefully Matt Benning's okay after that awful hit that he took. I don't know if that hit was a dirty
Head
hit
shot?
or not. Well,
shoulder,
did he hit him in
shoulder cap to the chin? I call it a penalty. At minimum, it's a penalty.
Yeah, I
hit to the head.
Couldn't tell from the replay whether he made contact with Benning's shoulder, Benning's body, or if he actually hit him in the head.
I thought he hit him in the head, and I saw Benning bleeding from the chin on the bench, which is a pretty good clue that maybe he got hit in the chin.
Yeah. Anyway, so the Oilers need those two guys going, and they were going. They played a really strong game. They were an effective pairing, and I think Jones got. I thought he might have been. He got to in the end 14-26 of ice time, which is more than he usually gets. He's usually around, I think, 11 or 12. So anyway, excellent game from Caleb Jones, and good to see him playing with confidence and stepping up just when the team needs him to do that. Because Bruce, they're going to have to find goals somewhere with McDavid out, and we got a goal from the Draisaitl line that Nuge set up Jones, but we're going to need the defense to step up and make some offensive plays.
Yeah, that's for sure, and Jones did nicely there.
Bruce, what is your bad thing on the night?
Well, having praised the Oilers play 5-on-5, I'm going to diss their play with extra man, 5-on-4. They had 2 power plays, struggled mightily to gain the zone, and boy, is that an area where they badly missed Connor McDavid, because he is an absolute wizard of the zone entry on the power play. Like, he's basically unstoppable. From at least getting over the blue line, because if they force him, he'll make the pass. And the Oilers tried and failed to do that a number of times. They generated just one shot on net in the two power plays, and they gave up one shot on net, which turned out to be the game-winning goal when they botched another zone entry. Leon Draisaitl turned the puck over at the blue line with an attempted pass to the wing, and Oscar Klefbom, to me, I don't know what he was doing on that play. Like he was standing still at the blue line, and he wasn't backing up the play. He didn't read what was going to go wrong. He didn't react to what went wrong, and he didn't win the race. Like he just was slow in responding. And of course, once Yanni Gourde got a step on him, he wasn't going to catch him then. But I just thought Oscar's play there was a bit poor, and obviously the pass was poor. And that was a game. That was.
Yeah, that was the game. I agree.
And
Because
then
that's such a blow to the team, right? Like it's just a
mhm.
psychological blow, and you're kind of done.
And then 6-on-5 at the end, coach decided to put out Zach Cassian as the sixth forward. And Cassian had three times full possession of the puck in Tampa
Turned it over.
Bay's end, and three times he passed it to nobody. And the third time he passed it 20 feet from anybody, and Tampa got it out of the zone and into the empty net. Like, I have no idea where that puck was going, but it wasn't anywhere close to any Oiler. He had five teammates to choose, and he found a dead space where none of them was close to it. Just a brutal play. And that was a
Yeah.
game. If it wasn't already over, that was
Yeah.
obviously. And you
Yeah.
just got to, when you have the extra man, you got to use them. I mean, pass the puck to a teammate or put it in the corner where at least you got strength in numbers. You can go after it. Don't cross everybody up by putting it in the other corner where nobody is. Not good.
I counted the same three times from Cassian, and I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking of mentioning it. My bad thing, Bruce, has to do with Cassian.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I listen. It's what I'm seeing on Twitter right now. People jumping the gun on suspending him. Like, because I saw one kind of person who's on TSN radio saying, start this off at 41 game suspension.
What?
I mean, yeah, exactly. I just think, okay, it was an ill-advised move. He does actually kick in the direction, but I have yet to see a replay. I've yet to see anything to show me that he actually made contact with the guy. I'm not sure that he did, and I'd like to see that replay. I haven't heard any of the post-game comments, if anyone's complaining about that yet. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he did make contact with the guy. Maybe he kicked him right in the middle of the chest with his skate.
Mm-hmm.
If so, yeah, he should be suspended. Let's see exactly what he did, though, before we all start flying off the handle. I mean, Justin Bourne was on TV, he went on it about twice, but there was no replay showing that he ever made contact. And I'm not, from Chernik's reaction, from the player's reaction, and I'm not sure that contact was ever made. So this could be much ado about nothing, essentially. And we don't know yet. We will know yet. But until you're sure, maybe just hold back on the most aggressive reaction in terms of the play.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Cassian kind of push his skate forward. The blade and the bottom of his boot disappeared from view. The guy's shoulder went back about an inch. Somebody else suggested it was maybe the contact from the other Oiler was underneath the pile, Josh Archibald, which spun him around a little bit. I don't know. All I know is that there's one angle, and if there was a video review on a goal, they would never call the puck over the line because you can't see the puck. Well, in this case, you can't see the skates. There's no way to tell if contact was made. I mean, maybe Chernak's got a big cut across his jersey. It was around the height of the shoulder pads, but you can't excuse the kick itself. I mean, you shouldn't be lashing out with those blades, but there's got to be more than one camera angle. You can't convict the player based on that or based on his reputation, which is what I dare say a lot of the over-the-top commentaries from. Zach Cassian did it, then it must have been.
Well, someone else was talking about his intent. Well, maybe his intent was to kind of kick towards him, but not actually hit him. Sometimes people are under control of themselves. They can actually judge. I'm going to hit you. Oh, I almost hit you, but I held up at the last second. Now, it was a stupid kicking motion, and maybe he did make contact again if he did. But I just think in all these situations, and we see this not just in hockey games, but throughout society, like something happens and everyone immediately blows it up big, and it's like the worst possible thing ever.
Yeah.
I just think it's incumbent on all of us in those moments until we actually see clear evidence, just to withdraw judgment. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, if he made contact, I'm going to say suspend the guy. But if he didn't, there's no suspension. He didn't hit him. So let's just wait and see. That's my point.
I mean, he was on his side and he was trying to get up, and sometimes you flail a little bit while you're doing that. I'd have to look at it 20 more times to see if that's even what he was doing. But if they only have that one angle, it's to me pretty inconclusive. Like it looks bad, but you can't
Well,
really
you have
tell.
to. Yeah, I guess they could talk to the player and the refs. There's four eyes on the ice from the officials, so
None of whom
he's
called a penalty on the play.
none of them who called a penalty on the play. So we'll see. All right, your number, Bruce.
Well, I'm going to go with the number 90. This number of points by Leon Draisaitl now. That's 9 points ahead of the rest of the NHL. So he's 10% ahead of the league at this moment in time. And sometimes you got to be lucky to be good. And he made quite a few good plays in this game. Obviously, he made an error on an important play, but the play on the goal was pretty funny. Uh, because as you know, the NHL counts back touches and until they get 3 points. Well, this play, as I saw it, was Draisaitl to Jones behind Edmonton's goal line, 200 feet from the other net. Jones carried it up. Jones passed it towards Yamamoto. It was knocked out of the air back to Jones. Jones passed it to Nugent Hopkins. He passed it back to Jones. Jones shot. It was blocked. It bounced back to Jones. Jones shot again and scored. So the puck went from Draisaitl to Jones to Nugent Hopkins to Jones again. But because Draisaitl was the third last guy on the countback, different guy, to touch the puck, he wound up getting the point and his 90th of the year. So a very strange play. You don't usually see, like Jones literally made two passes and two shots after Draisaitl passed him the puck, and yet Leon still was got an assist by NHL rules.
And of course, Jones's or Draisaitl's biggest contribution on that goal was staying on
Staying on
side.
side.
And Yamamoto made a nice contribution going hard to the net on that play, which opened up the slot on the rebound shot for. But yeah, his staying on side was pretty miraculous, and I was glad there wasn't a review of that because I wasn't completely sure that he did stay on side. So anyway, that was a good thing. You know, the interesting thing about Draisaitl, Bruce, is he's got 90 points. He's 9 points ahead of everybody else. He leads in points per game. But I was looking at the some of these odds makers, three different odds makers, and they had all at the top 10 for MVP candidates. Nowhere was Leon Draisaitl on the list, and people could say, "Well, it's because McDavid's on the team." But there was a couple Boston Bruins there. I mean, he's just
Yeah.
completely overlooked in terms of being a candidate for the Hart Trophy, which is not really fair.
David Pastrnak, number 3, and Brad Marchand, number 4. You're saying they don't help one another a little bit?
Yeah,
And it's a fact that since Draisaitl and McDavid were split up on separate lines, that Leon's actually gotten hotter than he was before. He hasn't been leaning on McDavid in any, power play. Sure, they play together on the power play, but that seems to be a pretty even share arrangement. They both do their part. But it's one of those. McDavid has such a reputation that the entire rest of the team is overshadowed, even the league scoring leader. Hello.
yeah. People like to make a lot of well, this is just McDavid and nobody else, and it's a one man
Mhm.
team and nobody else, and I think a little bit too much is made of that. Bruce, my number is 2450. That was Ryan Nugent Hopkins leading ice time tonight. Man, are they leading on Nuge, and man, is he ever playing well. He got another point tonight. Since December 29th, since Yamamoto was called up and this new line was created, he again is I think he's the fourth leading scorer in the NHL the last time I checked. He's just playing great hockey, and
Per game, yeah.
yeah, per game, because yeah, teams have played different number of games, of course, since then. Um, it's great to see Nugent Hopkins, as I called him. In my headline was "Rising Nugent Hopkins." It's just great to see him uh, enjoy this kind of success with the Oilers. Get two line mates that he's got great chemistry with, and really make a case for bringing him back on a new contract. Because I think he is a winger, and I think he's a really strong winger. I think he could maybe even be with Draisaitl and McDavid a point a game winger over a full season. So that player is going to be worth keeping. And I always feared that he would be traded before they tried him on the wing with McDavid and
Uh-huh.
Draisaitl. And he did get that chance with McDavid, and I think he did pretty well, especially the one year, not so much the last year. But he's really acing it now, and that line is just spectacular. They didn't have, they didn't, get the result tonight. They needed to score 2 goals, and they came close to scoring 2 goals. I was hoping the Oilers would come out of this with a loser point. Actually, was
Yeah,
my
I would have
kind of my
been real
fond
happy
dream.
with 1 point out of this
So I was
game.
sitting there watching the game and thinking, oh, maybe we'll get a loser point. And they would have, but they just, that line couldn't connect on one more goal. And the other lines are going to have a hard, let's face it, they're going to have a hard time scoring. Chase
Well,
on Gagne and Haas might pop in a goal. Maybe Shan and Archibald will get one now in Cassian, but this is
and
not going to be easy.
Andrei Vasilevsky, when they did break through that forest of sticks and legs and all the shooting and passing lanes in Tampa's end and did muster shots, they got a few pretty good looks at Andrei Vasilevsky, and he had the answers, and he's been on fire. In 2 months, since December 14th to February 13th, 18 wins, 0 regulation losses, 2 overtime losses. So he's got 38 of a possible 40 points, or the team has. And obviously the team is a big part of it, but you could see just from tonight's game, without having seen that team play a lot of games, that Vasilevsky himself plays a huge part of that team's success.
Yeah. The last chance the Oilers had was that rush near the end of the game where Nuge was stopped at the side of the net. He got fed by, I think it was Yamamoto who fed him, and he got stopped at the side of the net. And then the puck went to Jones, who fed cross seam Draisaitl, who got a great shot off, and Vasilevsky stoned him, and that was the game. Really, the Oilers they just needed everything to go right essentially to get a point out of that game, and they came close, but.
And he made a great save off of Gagne with maybe 3 minutes left.
Yes, that's true too.
Puck came through Kara. It looked like Kara had an open net, but the guy deflected it away from Kara. I was kind of cursing a bit that he couldn't get a stick on it, but that was actually a defensive play. But it went to Gagne, and Vasilevsky came over, not just scrambling, but upright, because Sam went upstairs. He thought the goalie'd be coming low across. And Sam didn't miss, but Vasilevsky just did a tremendous job to scramble and get across upright and get his whole upper body in the shooting lane. And so it is nothing more frustrating than playing against a good team and you finally get through the team and then the friggin' goalie is as good or better than the team in front of him is. Ken Dryden syndrome.
Yeah, so it was tonight. Well, Bruce, that's it for tonight. So thanks for talking.
Yeah, I better let you get your kitchen free over there, David.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah, my daughter's got to make Valentine cookies for her friends. So, all right. And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.